So let's start a referral frenzy. Have you ever driven past a friend's house and to your surprise, there's a for sale sign right there and you didn't put it there? Or have you ever got a call from a friend or a family member or a past client to let you know that maybe their landline number has changed because they've sold their house? And then there's an embarrassed silence. And then they say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot you were a real estate agent." Whoops. You know, the people who love you the most and trust you the most will still forget because they're busy leading their own lives. That's how it happens. So today we're going to talk about social calling, doing what we all ought to be doing anyway, but which almost no one does, and certainly no one that I've met is doing this correctly and effectively. So we're talking about doing it the right way, not in a clumsy, offensive, needy, or pitching way. This is a very powerful technique. I've heard people say when they hear it, "I already do this." They have been wrong 100% of the time. They are not listening and not getting what I'm saying. I've heard people say, "Oh, I tried that and it didn't work." They only think they tried it. They've done nothing like it. So if you want to really enjoy a referral and listing frenzy, I'm asking you that even if you think you already do it, please pretend you don't. Please pretend that you've never heard it before and listen for those little nuances, those subtle differences that will make all the difference to the way you do it now. Even if you think you tried it and it didn't work, please make a commitment to try it again, only this time with expert supervision. If you have to, record your call and send it to me. I'm very, very happy to give you help on that to make sure that it's done the right way. Because often there's just this tiny hair's breadth between failing with a strategy and enjoying seemingly miraculous results as if you've waved some magic wand. So this is called warm market frenzy, and it's a smart, respectful strategy that almost no one is using. And when I say almost no one, I've never met anyone in all of the hundreds and hundreds of reps that I've spoken to who is doing it this way. When it comes to referrals, these are our biggest assets. You know, they're our family and friends, the people we know quite intimately. It's our clients and potential clients, and it's our business networking buddies that we've met around the traps. But we have to do it in a particular way. First, let's look at how not to do this. How comfortable would you be calling up and pitching a relative or begging or pressuring for referrals? So don't do that, because it doesn't work anyway. It's not about pitching or begging or even asking for referrals. We have a real sales resistance here in Australia, Aussie sales resistance. We hate being told what to do. We hate being pushed. We hate being sold to or pitched to. We hate hype. We hate when people self-promote or tell us how good they are. We Aussies are programmed to resist anything that sounds vaguely like self-promotion or a sales pitch, even if that comes out of the mouth of someone we love very much. So these people already love us, or at least like us. They're already willing to send business our way. All we have to do is not stuff it up with sales pollution. All we need to do is just remind them very subtly and unobtrusively what we do for a living. It's that simple. So you do what you normally do, that is keep in touch with people's news, doing it properly. So you actually do need a written database. You know, don't try this on the seat of your pants. Do it in an organised, structured, strategic, scheduled manner. A database of every single person that you know, and there should be around 300. Make sure, of course, that you've got their birthdays, their kids' birthdays, wedding anniversaries, dog names, cat names, etc., just as you normally would, and there should be space to make a few notes about your last conversation. You schedule your calls, maybe a half an hour or an hour each day, such that you're calling each one of these people once every 60 to 90 days. The closer you are to them, the more frequently you should call. So family and friends at least once every 60 days. Business networking buddies, ex-clients, etc., every 90 days. No more than 90 days, because research shows that if you call after 90 days, the person will mostly have forgotten you. If you want to continue a warm relationship, it must be within that time frame. When you call, it's strictly to discover their news, a how's things call, or to give your good wishes. And this is, remember, something that you should be doing anyway. This strategy, this system, will simply help you do it. Will simply help you do what you ought to be doing and do it properly and effectively. So this is what it sounds like. Let's say you're calling Uncle Joe. So, hi, Uncle Joe, it's Bill here. Look, it's been a while since I called and I had a quick minute, so I thought I'd give you a bell. How's the footy going? Notice that I didn't pause between introducing myself and asking a question. That's because I want to keep this conversation short, friendly, respectful, and I want it to run a certain way with a certain structure. Now, Uncle Joe will answer my question because I've asked one, and then he's going to say, just as anyone does in this type of conversation, and what about you? And ask you back a similar question. Now, you don't move into a pitch, you don't move into real estate, you share back similar stuff. That's what you would normally do in this conversation. It's being courteous and respectful and empathetic. So if Uncle Joe has talked about a few things with family, you share a few things with family. And then you'll add, as a kind of an afterthought, oh, and work's been pretty good, because a lot of people are thinking of selling their house right now, but of course no one wants to risk selling for less than they could get, so that makes things busy for us. Anyway, and now you change the subject. This change of subject could be another question, like, what did you think of the Derby match last week? A suggestion of catching up. Anyway, we really should get together and have a beer. Or it could just be saying, looking forward to seeing you at Aunt May's lunch next week, or the christening or the wedding or whatever. So if you want referrals within 24 hours, this is the exact structure that you'll use, and you'll make those social calls now to get that warm market frenzy happening within 24 hours. Now, if you don't want referrals, then just don't make these calls. It's simple. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's entirely up to you, and you may or may not want an accountability partner to help you. I'm all in favour of accountability partners, because when I see people use those, the results are always phenomenal. So I recommend using the O.A.T.S.M or O.A.T.S.M sheet for accountability. O stands for outcome, and this is just stating specifically what you expect to achieve in the following week. You do this each week. A is action, so you're specifying the quantity and the type of action steps you'll take. So it's the precise number of people that you will call from which database. T is the time required, and usually you'll add a buffer of 20%, because you know it always takes a little bit longer. You know you don't always get people first time, and so they've got to call you back. There may be a little bit of phone tag going on, so time is important. S is schedule. So this is actually blocking out the time in your diary to make these calls, and also blocking out your accountability call or meeting that you will be having with your accountability partner. M is measure. Measure your results, because then you've got an absolutely fail-safe recipe to create any level of income that you choose. And you use that recipe as a base for your next week's O.A.T.S.M. So you go over this with your accountability partner by phone or live or by Skype or whatever to discuss those results, discuss what your stats are so far, because obviously the first week you may not get much happening, but there's a cumulative effect from making these calls. Now, at the bottom of this video, there's a download that you can grab, which is the O.A.T.S.M sheet. So download a copy of that and use it. And if you need help understanding it or using it better, just give me a bell or email me. I'll do my best to help you with that. So this is my 30-day referral frenzy challenge. Make up your list of at least 300 people and put it on a database. For the next 30 business days, make a commitment to calling 8 to 10 of these people, just heading down the list each day, as we've just discussed. Now, there are other referral methods as well. I have 4 other methods that are real favourites of mine that I love to share. And one of these is called Event Frenzy, which I discussed just a little bit in the previous introduction video, but there's much more to that. Another one is business networking, which most people do painfully badly, but I have a whole new way to share with you that works like crazy. Then there's the Centres of Influence strategy, which absolutely anyone can use if they do it the right way, a simple but deadly strategy. And then there's also your own personal website. It's a non-corporate website that you can put together. Some people will be able to do that all on their own just using WordPress. Other people will need more help. But it's important to have that when you've got the time and money to put into it. So Event Frenzy, business networking and centres of influence, they're all things that you can do for free. Your personal non-corporate lead generating website may have to wait for a little while yet, but you could certainly get on and do those first 3. And these are things that I share in another program. But do use what you've learned today. Join the support site at more-listings.com. We've got a mastermind group that's working on Facebook just for people studying this material, and you'll find some buddies there who are moving through the same thing that you are. So good luck with this. Really look forward to hearing from you and learning how it goes. Talk soon.